Introducing the Direct Supply Atlas Floor Lift, designed with safety and comfort in mind. Featuring a lightweight and ergonomic design, the Atlas Floor Lift reduces effort and strain on staff compared to manually lifting a resident. It boasts a base length of only 45.5 inches, which is shorter than the average floor lift, making it easier to maneuver in tight spaces. The Atlas Floor Lift can lift residents up to 450 pounds. Its 6-point spreader bar evenly distributes weight and allows caregivers to lift in multiple positions. The floor lift comes standard with 2 batteries and a charging station. To charge the battery, lift the handle on the back of the battery and then lift the battery up and away from the control box. Place the battery on the charger and listen for an audible click. Once fully charged, reinstall the battery onto the control box and listen for an audible click. As a best practice, we suggest you leave one battery on the charger at all times and rotate the batteries on a regular basis to coincide with routine activities, such as shift changes. To activate the primary emergency release, insert a pen into the hole labeled Emergency on the control box of the lift, and push down on the boom at the same time. Please use caution when using the secondary emergency release, as it is a backup that should only be used if the primary emergency release fails. To stop the boom assembly from raising or lowering, press the red emergency button on the control box. To disengage the emergency stop, rotate the red emergency stop button clockwise. We will now go through the process of lifting a resident using 5 steps: positioning the resident on the sling, positioning the lift, attaching the sling, lifting or moving the resident from the bed, transferring the resident to a wheelchair. It is generally recommended that 2 assistants be used when positioning a resident on a sling. The methods shown in this video may not be appropriate for all residents, so be sure to always follow your community's requirements for safe lifting procedures and refer to the owner's manual for complete instructions and warnings. Before you start, please be sure you have the proper sized sling for the resident. Staff should thoroughly inspect the sling for damage or deterioration. Items to look for include missing or illegible sling identification, discoloration and brittle or stiff areas on any part of the sling, holes, tears, cuts, or snags, broken or worn stitching, excessive wear. Where any such damage or deterioration is present, do not use and remove the sling or attachment from service immediately. First, position the resident in the center of the bed, lying flat on his or her back. Fold the sling in half, lengthwise, and place the sling beside the resident. The closed end of the sling with the positioning handle should be facing the resident when folded. The top edge of the sling should be slightly above the resident's head. As necessary, help the resident roll from back to side. With the resident on his or her side, position the sling so the fold will align with the resident's spine when he or she returns to lying flat on his or her back. After the resident has returned to lying on his or her back, instruct the resident to roll onto his or her other side, now facing the other assistant. Help as necessary. Flatten the folded portion of the sling on the bed. Encourage the resident to return to lying on his or her back. Help as necessary. When using a divided leg sling, slide the divided leg straps under each leg, making sure to smooth out any wrinkles or folds of the straps as much as possible to avoid discomfort or injury to the resident. With the straps positioned at approximately mid-inner thigh, be sure to thread one strap through the other at the bottom most available hole. You are now ready to begin attaching the sling to the lift. When lifting a resident, the legs of the lift must be in the maximum open position for stability and safety. If it is necessary to close the legs of the lift to position the lift under the bed, return the legs of the lift to the open position and position the lift over the resident by using the steering handle. Position the lift for use with the spreader bar positioned a few inches above the resident's solar plexus. Press the boom down arrow on the hand control to lower the boom for easy attachment of the sling. Place the straps of the sling over hooks of the swivel bar or cradle, and be sure to match the corresponding strap and/or strap colors on each side of the sling for an even lift of the resident. For questions about the appropriate straps to use for each resident, refer to a supervisor for guidance before lifting a resident, and always follow your community's requirements for safe lifting procedures. Shorter straps are positioned toward the resident's back for upper trunk and head support, so he or she can be lifted in a more upright position. Colored straps make it easy to connect both sides of the sling equally. Always ensure there is sufficient head support when lifting a resident. Press the up arrow on the hand pendant to raise the resident just high enough to clear the bed. After elevating the resident a few inches above the bed, ensure the sling and all attachments are secure and properly connected. The resident's weight will be fully supported by the lift. When the resident is clear of the bed surface, swing the resident's feet off the bed. Please use caution during this step. If the resident is not clear of the bed surface, it could result in shearing or friction on the resident's skin. Use the steering handle to move the lift away from the bed. When doing so, turn the resident so he or she faces the caregiver operating the lift. Check for obstructions before beginning to move a lift with a resident in the sling. Then move the wheelchair into position. To prevent movement of the wheelchair, engage the wheelchair's brakes. Begin to lower the resident by pressing the down arrow on the hand pendant. 2 caregivers are recommended for this step. One assistant will stand behind the chair and the other will operate the lift. The caregiver behind the chair will pull back on the grab handle, available on select models, or sides of the sling to seat the resident well into the chair back. This will help maintain a good center of balance. Take care to prevent the chair from tipping forward. Remove the sling from the resident. Prior to use, and for more information on how to use your Direct Supply Atlas floor lift, please refer to your owner's manual. You can learn more about the entire Direct Supply family of brands made specifically for senior living at directsupply.com/brands.